What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fish Lift Eat podcast. We appreciate you tuning in with us today. We got an awesome episode lined up for you. My name's Casey, and joining me is the normal motley crew of us over here at Fish Lift Eat. We've got Papa Stark, we got Justin, and then the man that makes us all look good, Chad. What's going on, guys?
How's it going?
Hey, buddy.
Glad to have everybody back on. We got a really special guest with us today that I'm excited to dive into some good conversation about. We got Mr. Koby Fulks with us. How are you, Koby?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Glad you could be here. You know, I don't even know which avenue to start with first for everything Koby's involved with and what he's got going on. We're gonna obviously dive into all of it. So why don't you just give us a little rundown of yourself, Koby? Give us a background and what all you got going on.
Yeah, the quick 30-second synopsis. Well, I'm the owner of Rise Fishing Company. We make fly rods. We manufacture overseas and in the United States. And I started that after I left Under Armour. Spent 15 years at Under Armour. And prior to that, I was in the military, in the Marines, and flew on helicopters. So I've and just love to be outdoors. That's really kind of I think where we ended up here.
Hell yeah!
Yeah. So awesome, basically, man. Everything he's done is more exciting than anything I bring to the table.
100%. 100%.
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe.
Oh, 100%. Well, let's take a look first at Rise Fishing Company. You know, what led to start that? Like, where did you get your start in fishing at, and how did that lead to starting a rod company?
Well, I mean, my start in fishing, geez, that was probably my grandfather, my father, and then now that I'm in my 50s, I kind of wish my grandfather, my father would have started me when I was younger, because then I could have 40 years of fly fishing versus just the 30. So, but they were all, growing up in Colorado, my grandfather was Longmont, my father was in the Marines, and, our family trips were camping and fishing and just being outdoors, I think just being that not a lot of money kind of thing and just going camping. So that kind of started me on the fishing. But really, when it came down to it, when I left, when I decided to leave Under Armour, which I was, had pretty high up there. I was a, director of marketing for hunting, fishing, and military tactical, which are all my backgrounds, right? But when I left there, one of my good friends had this rod company. Him and his wife started, and I said, "Hey, how can I help out? What can I do?" Kind of getting away from a corporate world and really going into something that I just enjoyed doing.
That's awesome. Just for reference, man, that title that you had over there sounds like just a really boring job.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was, grew a lot of gray hairs in there. But I was employed like the 23rd employee at Under Armour. So,
really?
I watched it grow from, and then I helped Kip and Kevin move from Kevin Plank, the owner of Under Armour. I helped him and Kip move from his grandmother's basement, which is an all true story, about how Under Armour started. And I helped them move to Baltimore in 1996. So I always said that they could never afford to hire me early on. So I just worked for free. But yeah, eventually I became the director of marketing for hunting, fishing, and military tactical. Enjoyed myself. It's a lot of fun. We did obviously the Ridge Reaper television show. So I got a lot of lot of experience doing a lot of things. I think everybody knew me as the hunter, and I don't think anybody knew that I fished as much as I did. So that was always like my little side hustle, was just going fishing when I was hunting. So
yeah,
that's awesome, man. I think that's cool. That's kind of what you're telling us here today, right? Because anybody who was following along the way had a much different view of who you were, right?
Right.
And so it's really cool to kind of, like I told you, I was stalking your Instagram page and getting super angry because, I don't catch anything that looks like that. So it's awesome to see that was really kind of what your side hustle and passion was, right? And that's why I think we're so happy to have you on today, and super stoked that, our other bearded wonder over here ran into you down in Texas. So it's cool to have you on. I got a quick question though. You said you got all those gray hairs from, that job. Now you're doing effectively, it's entrepreneurship, right?
Right.
You get more gray from the corporate side or the entrepreneur side?
Probably the entrepreneur side.
I was going to say, man, I'm not that old, but if I let this grow any further, it's all white down here, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not easy doing your own thing and just kind of like running your own business. I have a partner, Steve, and it's kind of funny because like my wife calls him my girlfriend, because I probably talk to him on the phone more than I talk to my wife on the phone, so we have a great relationship. And that's always like key in a small business, is just working with people that you want to work with.
Absolutely, man.
And you're talking fly fishing, so how bad could it be, right?
It could always be worse.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad fly fishermen out there.
Two of them right here, man. There's two of them right here.
Well,
I can't speak for Justin. I've never fished with Justin. I just know I'm not very good.
Well, I get stuck with the stories of like the bad luck Koby too, because I go fishing with guys that are better than me. So,
well, we got to get ourselves leveled up here. We need to come fish with you, right? And then we'll be your bottom rung. You'll move up. We just kind of keep moving everybody up to the top.
We'll be the bad luck fish lift eat guy, the bad luck podcast guys, and you can elevate.
Oh, hey, you'll all be better than me because I don't even fly fish.
All right, well now we got a goal there. Get Casey fly fishing.
Yeah. I don't know if we can do it, man. Casey's a bass guy.
Hey, I'll go fly fishing with y'all, but then y'all have to fly down and fish a tournament with me.
I do it. I'm for it.
I mean, I love fishing for bass with a fly. So
I busted some river smallie this afternoon before I got here to hop on this, man. Like I love chasing bass on the fly.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
We have some great smallie. The Susquehanna up here, just north of us, is a great smallie river. So,
hell yeah. Where I hit today, it's my favorite. It's my favorite fishery around here, and it just so happens that it's on my way home from the doctor's office, and so I kind of checked the watch and looked at everything. It's like, man, I can get there, get about 30 or 40 minutes in. And so I slid off in there and did my thing for a minute. So it's a good time.
It's the way to do it, man.
Hell yeah.
So with Rise, let's get back to Rise Fishing Company. I want to know a little bit more about that. You obviously said that, it was some friends of yours started that company. Where's the company at today? Like, how big is it? What's in the works? Where are you headed?
I mean, I would still consider us a pretty small company where, we're just, it's really just the two of us,
okay.
And we just kind of, we expand on the fly rods here and there. We do make spinning rods, and really our biggest thing in the last couple of years was getting stuff made here in the U.S. That was kind of like one of the biggest things.
Awesome.
But Steve, my partner Steve, we became friends because it kind of like goes back to Under Armour. Like we became friends because I sponsored the Jackson Hole One Fly in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and he was on my team. So hey, you got an apparel guy, you got a guy that makes fly rods. I'm like, we were all set. We had, like everybody that was on our team was happy as all get out.
Yeah.
So we just became friends, and as we were doing that, and like I said, I left Under Armour and was like, all right, I want to help. So what do I do? But
Awesome.
we make everything from, I'm obviously a trout guy. Steve is from Long Island. He's a total saltwater guy, and those guys are way different fly fishing than
Absolutely.
us guys. It's crazy how good. And Steve was on. Do you remember that the ESPN outdoor games? So
Yep.
he was on that. So he's in the casting competitions and all that stuff. So he's the best fly caster I've ever seen in my life.
That's awesome.
But so we make saltwater, we make freshwater. Obviously, when we came in, I really kind of started revamping the freshwater just because that's my passion is trout. Because he's already got the saltwater, but so that's kind of where we are. Being small, it's I still have another job. I still work for a big truck brewery too. I've been brewing beer for a couple of years, and everybody's like, "Oh, you brew beer and fly fish?" Like, how bad could your life be?
Sounds terrible.
All of it's work, no matter how you put it.
Sounds like if you have extra time, you might as well be a co-host so that we can pull all that in right here because I think that's about where we live. So is the beer thing your gig as well, or is that a side hustle? You're just a part of it. What's that all about?
It's been me and my brother. So when I left Under Armour, I started building the farm, just because it was kind of like by myself, and and I was doing my rise fly fishing, so I wasn't I wasn't real concerned about anything. And then once we got into the place because we started off as a hops farm, and once we got into building the brewery and getting all the beer brewed, there's not a lot of money in hops. So there's a lot more money in beer. So my brother and I have been doing that ever since. So I've kind of been working for my brother for almost 20 years, I guess.
I would say use the word with, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I got to admit, man, I've never had your beer. What's your best one?
Well, I guess it depends on what you like. I mean, because for me, I'm a straight IPA guy, so I love our just straight IPA, which is our crew cab, and then our hazy IPA, which is our half cab. So we like trucks, so we figured go with what and we know trucks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Hell yeah.
We have, in the brewery, I have probably over 75 recipes, so. We only can 7.
Okay. And where do you distribute to?
Right now we are started Maryland and then Pennsylvania. So we're basically Maryland, Pennsylvania, surrounding out Delaware. We are signing a bunch of Virginia right now, as well as West Virginia and Ohio. So we're just kind of like growing out of Maryland right now. So pretty fast growth for only brewing beer for 3 years now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
So with that, what kind of volume can y'all put out in, say, a week, a month, or whatever to be able to accommodate that kind of distribution?
Whatever anybody orders. So we do have our 7-barrel system in our tap room just basically serves the tap room that runs about 1,000 to 1,100 barrels, and then we have another facility where we actually have 2 farms. We have 2 farm breweries, and the other one has a 20-barrel system where we can run, a lot more. We haven't really reached capacity at that, but when you talk about like kind of going out and distributing, kind of let's just call it the worldwide distribution. Nationwide, for us, we don't have that big of a facility, so we use a couple of partners. To one of them local here in Maryland, and then one of them in Wisconsin that are contract brewers for us. So we've gone over, done the recipes with them, and basically from a layman's terms, it's it's very difficult to tell. If you're a brewer, you could probably tell a slight difference.
Gotcha. You're talking about the recipes and all of that. Like I noticed, you had a couple IPAs. You have a blonde. You have kind of like a Mexican beer. It's got some kind of
Yep.
lime in it or something
Yep.
like that. Got any intentions of dropping stouts anytime?
That
That happens to be my favorite, so that's why
I'm actually going to can the stout tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Awesome.
it's cool.
Yep.
Hopefully, I don't have to wait till February when you're back down here in Texas to get a hold of some of that.
Yeah. I'll see if I can bring some with me.
Hell yeah,
Dude, the streak continues for new products getting brought up on
Drop
this podcast.
dropped on the show.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh yeah, dude. We've had like exclusive
Three
lures
for
getting
three,
dropped.
right?
Yeah, three
Three
for
for
three.
three.
Everybody that comes on has something new in the works.
Yeah.
It's about
yeah.
to
We
come
had
out.
Fish or Die Bait Co. on last week, and he's got a new exclusive lure that he kind of dropped the bomb on the podcast. It came out this Monday. We recorded with him last week, though.
Well, the stout isn't new for us. So we've been making it for 3 years. So it really wasn't a drop. So
Well, let's just pretend it was. So our
Yeah,
streak
yeah,
can stay
there you
alive. We're fans of streaks. We don't want to go 2 for 3. I like to go 3 for 3.
all right, there you go.
Way better.
Before this is over with, we'll kind of hash out and figure out how to start making beard products and shit, and then we'll just drop that on everybody.
Yeah, there we go. I could use some more. I need to order some more now.
Yeah, you and me both.
I do think it's kind of funny because it's for Bob and I both of it, like the beard's below the camera, right?
I was gonna say
Yeah, like
you guys look like you're about the damn same.
yeah, it's pretty close. Pretty close. I email it on Koby's business card underneath his name. It says the beard, and when I emailed him about the podcast, I put the other beard.
Yep.
That's gonna be your new nickname.
Yeah, the other beard.
Right
The
there
other
under
beard.
Papa Stark, we're gonna start writing the other beard. And that way when people reference it, we can always give Koby a shout out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
So from a marketing standpoint, dude, with all those things you got going on, it's gotta be kind of fun, right? Like you can be pretty damn creative when you're talking fishing, beer, and trucks.
Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of, that's 3 things I know. It could be the only 3 things I know, but at least I'm good at them.
If I was gonna pick 3
Absolutely.
things to know, I'd pick those 3 things probably.
That's three damn good
Yeah.
things to know.
If I was gonna pick 4, I'd add shooting.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we learned a lot from Under Armour, just being able to market and build a brand. So the big truck really came out of that. Rise has been more just kind of like my baby, and that I don't necessarily have the funds that the other guy, the owners of Under Armour do. So it's a little slower, but it's fun nonetheless.
Hell yeah.
So what's some of your goals for Rise? Like where do you see that going in the future?
Well, I think from a fly fishing standpoint, I think you just really want it to be more of a lifestyle. Like that's that's really what you're about. And in Rise fishing doesn't necessarily say fly fishing. So it kind of leaves that open-ended a little bit to be lifestyle. But I think just, doing things like this and being able to do videos and content and really just more about where we're going is more about showing people what we're doing. I've talked about it before. Steve and I talk about it every day, and coming down to it, it becomes execution, right? So, being able to execute all these things that you talk about, which I think you guys are, a great just indication of, hey, let's go ahead and execute what we've talked about. Like, you've done the hunt, lift, eat. Now you're on the fish, lift, eat. It's like you're executing what you kind of dreamed of. So I think that's, my dream is just being able to execute everything that we talk about. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, I think a big thing that's happening over here, man, is you got a lot of, visionaries, and then you got a lot of guys that got attracted to that vision, right? And now you got a lot of folks that are sitting here going, how do we jump off and do this thing, right? Because it's a big step, right, to go from let's say corporate, because that's a good broad term, right, and jump into something on your own, because there's no safety net. And that's what a lot of the guys on this team are finding out. Hey, I want to go do this, but like how do I make that happen?
Yeah.
So, like for you, it might have been a little different because you had a pretty decent position at Under Armour, but I mean, there still had to been some sort of apprehension or a little bit about jumping out on your own. You can talk a little bit about that, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there is an apprehension, and obviously, for me, I have the my better half, my wife, and she gave me the ability to kind of do these things that I want to do, because she works as hard as I do. Is really what it comes down to. And
awesome.
If she didn't have the job that she did, then I probably wouldn't have had that opportunity, but I did have a little bit of leeway there. But yeah, absolutely. You kind of, you're like, okay, really? I'm not gonna make any money this year. You're like, okay, I'm really gonna dip into a lot of this money that I saved. So
I was gonna say, I don't think it was about making any money. I think it's about I'm gonna make negative money this year.
Yeah,
be awesome.
That's what. Well, and I think she still refers to as rise fishing as my really expensive hobby. But we do make money, which is great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
It pays for all my fishing adventures, basically.
Well, taken care of then.
Yeah, that's the same way my wife looks at all my tournament fishing. It's just I mean, I can cash some checks in some tournaments, but at the end of the day, do we really make any money at it?
Out there.
But on that note, Casey, I got to check in based on our last podcast. You had found yourself down a rabbit hole on some glide baits and rods. Yeah. Are you still sleeping on your bed or the couch, or how's that working out?
Dude. All is well.
All is well. So they didn't show up yet.
Oh yeah, no. They got a little chewed up this past weekend. They're very, very good.
We bring Koby up to speed, man, because that was pretty funny.
So last time we kicked off an episode, we were talking about rabbit holes or whatever, and it was like the night before, and I'd went on a really deep rabbit hole on glide baits. I don't know how familiar you are with those, big, hard swim baits, and really freaking expensive. Just, I mean, to be bluntly honest, but they're big, 4, 6, 8 ounce baits. So they take specialty rods to be able to to fish them, and heavier reels and all that. And so one thing led to another one night, and Casey ordered a bunch of glide baits and some new swim bait rods and all kinds of stuff. And so we were talking about how I was going to get around whenever everything started showing up on my porch when my wife would be here, and how I was going to get around that. Justin thought I was going to have to move to Colorado and sleep on his couch.
I was making a bed for you, man.
But no, all is well. You just gotta. I think
that's what is
gotta know how to hide it.
I think that's what everybody in fishing is what when we're gone and past is what your wife's gonna, if she's gonna sell it for what you told her you paid for it.
I love it.
That's the clip. Timestamp that. That thing's going out on the internet right away. That was genius.
I can't take credit for that one. That's going to for sure.
There's some things we got to keep secret, guys. Come on.
Now, man, I'm glad you kind of you talked about that and brought that up though. About your wife kind of having your back on those kinds of things. Because it'll do me some good when my wife listens to this episode to know that she's not alone in that, because she's always been like my number one supporter. Now, nothing I do, everything I do costs money. Like,
right.
And that, I did music. I was a touring musician for close to 20 years, and that was kind of probably more of a break even. But she was always right there with that. And then, when I decided that I was slowing down and going to spend more time in the woods and more time on the water, especially with the fly fishing, because it's like fly fishing has really kind of grabbed a hold of me like nothing ever has. And man, she's right there with it the whole way, and so it's cool to see that,
well, to have someone that that supports you in everything you do, I think is really what it comes down to, and they're not, she always says like whenever I go on one of these fishing trips, it's like I'm like, why are you mad at me? Like, I'm not mad. I just want to be with you.
Yeah.
So it's a love mad where she's like she just wants me to be happy, but she wants to go too.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, we kind of do that same thing. We don't take any big trips or anything, but she's just now recently kind of really found her way into the space. I went and I bought her I already had a rod, and so I bought a kind of a lower end reel, just so she could kind of learn and get out in the water and have her time too. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. The kids are all coming along. I know you don't know my background, but I've got about 1,700 kids, and I've got 5. But they're all coming along for the ride too, and so it's super enjoyable to be able to get the family, and they actually, like, I'm not pushing it on them. It's just kind of one of those things that's there and it's kind of naturally coalesced into the whole family, being involved, and so it's been great.
Well, I had forgotten too that you met my wife, so in
That's
Dallas.
right.
So I forgot that because we actually drove from Maryland to Dallas, and just a little 22-hour trip in the 2001 excursion. So,
That's crazy.
I love it, and that's cool, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
man.
It's a lot of fun though.
Hell yeah.
I like it when she goes, honestly.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Well, that's like my wife. We've got that running thing with, like, she doesn't care anything about fishing necessarily, but talking about just wanting to be with me and whatever. I mean, what girl doesn't like to go out on the lake and hang out? But so we just kind of have the unwritten rule of anytime I'm going to the lake, she always has, the standing invitation to go on any trip that I'm going on. And if I've got buddies going, it don't matter who it is, and she decides she wants to go with me that day, like, she gets priority. Like, I'll reschedule with the other guys or whatever. But anytime Mama wants to go on the lake, we go.
Well, as a bass tournament guy, does your wife ask you for a pontoon boat? Because that's where I'm at.
So we've done a pretty cool thing for the last few years. I've got my bass boat, obviously, and it's big enough for me, my wife, and our kids. We can go out and have fun late days, but we'll get together with some friends, like 2 or 3 couples or whatever, and we'll go rent one for the day pretty regularly. And that's awesome, because I've always said, like, I do not want to trailer a pontoon in and out every time I want to go to the lake, and I'm too cheap to buy a slit that stays on the lake. Maybe when I get that lake house one day, we can talk about getting a pontoon to go cruise around on the weekends. But no, we've not had that conversation yet, and I'm going to avoid it as long as possible.
Well, I think all these years of living in Maryland, but I went to high school in Hawaii too, living on the beach. I think I want to live on a lake, and I want a boat, and I want to live on a lake. That's where I'm at.
I'll be on a lake. First chance I get, I'm moving to the lake.
Oh yeah.
I'm a river kid, man. I grew up in the rivers, and so I want to live on the river. I got a flat bottom John boat, that's where it's at. I'm small water all day.
I'm with you, Papa. I'm river, no lakes, all river, all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely can't do deep sea. It's never been. I got to have my feet on the ground when it comes to fishing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Lakes I'm okay with. I kind of have to be heavily drugged up to go out in the open ocean.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the ocean either. I'm not a fan. I'll hit our local lake. We've got hybrid striped bass. And so that's kind of my goal for next spring and summer is to get more time out there chasing stripers.
Well, I think that's so you bring up the stripers, the stripers to me are one of the craziest fish.
Yeah.
Just because they're from the East Coast to the West Coast. They're very sought after. Like, they love them. You get out there and from Maryland, Virginia, Maryland, all the way up Jersey, New York, Maine. Those fish travel all the way up the coast and they come up all the rivers to spawn.
Yeah.
But then you have all these landlocked stripers throughout the United States, which is insane. So they're like freshwater and saltwater and go to San Diego and they're fishing for stripers in the Pacific.
Yeah.
Like one of the craziest fish of all time, and everybody loves them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anybody bitch about striper.
No.
Oh,
So it's a great fish.
You'll hear me bitch about them.
I'm sure tournament
season.
That makes sense.
Oh, do they not count?
No, they did not. But we were on a lake this weekend, and we were coming out of a pocket that we had been fishing, and all of a sudden, this enormous school of striper just started feeding right out off the end of a point. And so I turned the boat off real quick and dropped the trolling motor. Me and my buddy, we were just casting. We caught 15 striper in less than 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
we were just.
Can you imagine that blitz off of like the tip of Montauk and the end of Long Island, where it's the size of a football field?
No.
Like just
because this was huge. It was great. I mean, we caught so many of them. We just grabbed the first rod that we had on hand, right? So mine ended up. I was throwing a mega bass jerkbait right into it. We caught so many of them that before we got to the next spot, I had to put new treble hooks on my jerkbait because all the hooks were bent out.
Oh yeah.
So how big do they get? Out on the coast like that?
Well, you could probably scroll down my Instagram and see, but I have we catch them up in the Susquehanna, the spawning grounds up there, and they're 55, 60 inches.
Yeah.
Holy hell!
I mean, they'll pull them out of it.
Like they're huge. They're huge fish.
Yeah. I think I'm probably wrong, but I think the record here is somewhere close to 30, 32 pounds, in the lake. And then, so I'm in, like I said, southeastern Oklahoma. Like I'm, that thing down in Dallas and Mesquite, like it was a couple hours from me. I mean, I'm right on the border. But then up, more, kind of northeastern kind of Oklahoma, the rivers up there, they're in the rivers up there, and they're 15, 20 pounds up there too. It's crazy.
Yeah. They get big.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So I'm sitting here looking right here, the lake right down the road from me, where there's a ton of striper guides and stuff. And actually, my dad, my uncle used to be striper guides. The lake record is 47 pounds, 12 ounces.
Yeah. There you go. They're big fish.
It's crazy.
And then I know how you felt on the catching all of them. That's that salmon picture that you showed. That was just from the other week on the intro.
Yeah.
And we caught so many fish. I mean, like my arm was tired. It was just insanity. It was probably the best year we've had up there.
Yeah.
Gosh, I've just never had that problem.
No.
I'd love to have that problem.
My arm never gets tired from catching 12-inch stocker trout.
Yeah.
You come out here, Papa. You can fish all day. We catch these little, 6 to 10 inch browns like crazy.
I would be like a pig in shit, as they say.
It's a good time, man. It's a fun fish to chase up here.
Yeah,
I'm for it. I'll chase any of them. I like catching bluegill and green sunfish. I don't give a damn.
Koby, you said you were in Colorado for a while. You chase any trout out here, or how'd that go?
I did. I mean, I was I didn't when I was in college. I went to Colorado State, and then I joined the Marines. And then when I got out of the Marines, I went to University of Colorado. So I've kind of been there a bunch, but I've always gone back there because my family was always there. My grandparents were always in Longmont. Lived there for 45 years, so I've kind of always gone back. But yeah, Colorado is probably my favorite place to be. But what I love about Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Utah is, just being able to go in any river and being able to catch fish. I can't. I mean, I have to go to specific places in Maryland. Like I have to go to the one stream, and it's still fun. But they're the brown trout fishery that I have on the Gunpowder River in Maryland is a little different because they're like that. They're 8 to 13 inch brown trout.
Yeah,
it's about as big as they get. I have caught a 19 in there, but
nice.
But I love the trout.
Colorado's awesome that way, man. I live we talked about this kind of pre this conversation, right? But I live pretty close to where you were at, right? So we can fish, the Big Tommy, the same rain, and we'll jump up on the Pooter, and then you go, a little bit more south, and you catch Colorado, and you get up into Rocky Mountain National Park.
Yeah.
Dude, it's something that I think we take for granted out here, right? Is like you said, I can walk down the street and I can catch the same rain, dude. It's awesome, right?
Oh, yeah.
So Button Rock catching brownies up there and chasing stuff like that. So we're pretty lucky out here. I agree. And,
I remember playing in the St. Vrain when I was in like first grade.
Yeah, it's funny. We probably crossed paths, man, because I had a bunch of family up in Longmont. So I'd come up here and we'd go tubing down the creeks and the rivers up here all the time. Yeah. Hey, you said you're a Colorado State guy, not to date yourself, but when were you over there?
89.
Say that again?
89.
89. All right. I got a bunch of buddies. That's actually where my wife went to school as well. But they were
it's about that time frame, a little later.
Got 10 years after you.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Yeah.
I'm older than I look, is what I always tell everybody.
Yeah.
So you went to which team would you call if we had to talk college football for a second? Which Colorado State?
Uh-oh.
Okay. I was about to bring Coach Prime into this. See how you felt on Dion out there.
I do love some Neon Dion, but he was out here in for a little while with the Ravens, so
yeah,
I do like him. But he was a big Under Armour guy too, so I've been around him a bunch.
It's been an interesting few weeks. Started off pretty hot. Ain't looking so hot right now.
Small, big time and small time. It's you're gonna lose some points. So
yeah, that's right.
All I'm gonna say is go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
I like his character.
Go Dogs.
I'll tell you right now, you can't really have a conversation with Casey on a Saturday.
No,
not if you want it to be productive. No. We got a bye week this week, so we can get together Saturday if you want.
Hey, there you go, man. We could do something on a Saturday. Let's do that.
Yeah. So I was at Colorado State in '89. So I think it was the first year in 50 years they went to a bowl game. So it's not like they were known for their football. So
no, not really.
They didn't really go there for the football.
Now we had a couple guys here, Hunt Lift Eat and Fish Lift Eat. Our buddies over at Hunt Wallet, one of their co-founders, D'Angelo. He was D'Angelo Hall. He was up at CSU for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
Probably. I'm trying to think. He's probably 8 years behind you, 7, 8 years behind you, but he was up there playing football for a little while. They got a pretty kick-ass little company over there, man. You got to check them out at some point. They're one of our good partners here at Hunt Lift Eat.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
I love finding cool stuff. It's really, I think I had a good run just meeting good people.
Yeah.
And I think that, I tend to connect with good people everywhere I go. So I think I'm a good judge of character sometimes.
Why you messed up by talking to this ass wipe at a fishing expert?
and now we got you here. So,
hey.
Sorry about that.
Shoot, it's all good.
Nah, it's all good, man.
So, man, I'm looking at this elk behind you.
Oh, you're reading my mind. I was about to change gears right
dude,
now.
Well, I'm just sitting here like it's just.
We're not going to talk about the elephant in the room, but we're going to talk about that big ass elk in the room.
Strategically placed elk right behind you there. What's the story there, man?
Oh, so I mean that's Norman. He lives down here in the basement of my house. He was my first kill on the Ridge Reaper television show. So, it wasn't too bad, I guess. I got the camera's backwards. I'm going to go this way.
There you
go. That's pretty fair.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. And, you can, with the video, you can actually see it. You don't get too many elk very often where you see the elk and the guy drawing in the same frame at the same time. It's pretty, the way we filmed the Ridge Reaper show was all over the shoulder. So everything was always right here.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
So speaking of that,
we stalked you.
We got a little nugget for our if you're viewing us on through our video here, Chad's gonna throw something up for you here so that you can see exactly what Koby's talking about.
As long as the internet gods allow.
Because nothing better than that sound right there.
4 bulbs about 100 yards away. We can see 2 of them. Find the other 2. The big one's above. He's not there. 7 by 8. I think the arrow's still in him.
Poor Norman.
That's awesome.
Poor
That's
Norman.
awesome. Poor Norman.
I tell you
He's
what,
sliding in on the HLE territory now. How you like that, fellas?
Yeah, take that, Luke and Carter.
well, they kind of go hand in hand because like after I killed Norman, I actually went and fished the creek there, which is like a 6-foot stream in Utah, and caught 75 cutthroat trout on a hopper. So
Yeah, if it was an elk hair caddis.
Hey, man.
Norman.
Where's that video at?
Yeah, where's that video?
I literally left. I walked up, went out of the camp and walked up like almost 3 miles upstream and just fished. And
That's awesome, man.
so,
That sounds like just a terrible trip.
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Golly.
Sometimes you got to take one for the team, Justin. It's just,
Hey man, if that's what it requires, call me anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think one of the funniest stories from that though is so when I killed Norman and I'm going up fishing up this stream, I lost my my forceps.
Yeah.
And in the river somewhere. And of course I'm a black guy, so I like everything's black, like, trucks are black, all my equipment, like whatever.
Yeah.
Drops into the stream, you can't see it in the water, right? So I walk upstream, I catch more fish, and then sure enough, I find another pair of forceps that were orange in the water. That was one of the craziest parts to that whole trip.
Oh man.
I lost a pair and I found a pair.
So where did Norman come from? Where did the name come from?
No, I don't. It was just a name. It was, it was kind of like trying to think of something, and I was just like, I just like Norman. It was just kind of
Just fit.
because when you have 4 kids, and there was just like, oh, Norman's downstairs. So.
That's like it's like me with the dogs and stuff. Our kids, when we get dogs, they're let's call him Spot or Jimbo or this, that, and the other. I'm like, nah, we need let's give it some time and let this thing marinate. We're gonna come to this naturally, and then you end up with dogs named Moose and Creek and shit like that.
Yeah. Well, I think I want to just go straight back to like naming a dog. I'm just gonna be, we'll throw Chad on it, just call him Chad, yeah. Like, I think that's where I'm going to go with the naming dogs from now on.
Dude, we went simple. We've had a lot of dogs, and our newest one got Jack.
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 Yeah,
Jack.
it's all right.
It works out, man. He's an energetic asshole, so
asshole.
he gets jackass all the time. It works out really well. Yeah,
My dad,
awesome dog, man. But we're 2 years in, and he still ain't settled down at all.
my dad had a dog named Damn It.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah,
Come here, damn it.
what does it fit, right?
Yeah. But Norman just stays down here in the basement. He's just chilling out.
Hell yeah, man. That's
awesome.
Trucking it back up in there and catching. I mean, that many fish, number one's pretty badass. But what have you got? Your favorite fishing story. Have you got one that just kind of stands out from the rest of them?
I did. Surprisingly enough, I picked one out. So, kind of like you were talking about the 13-inch stockers, right? So the guys I fish with here are, they're not necessarily like me, they're my friends, but they're not necessarily as hard as I am when it comes to fishing. So we go, and they're just super happy to go to the place and follow the truck and catch the 13-inch stockers that are being dumped into the river. We're on the East Coast, so they're completely happy with that. I'm kind of just like there looking, going, we're not gonna do this, are we? this is insane to me. Like this, like of course we can go catch all of them if you want to. So I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna walk upriver, and I walk. I don't know. It could have been a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile, and just like looking for little pockets, and I find these 2 little waterfalls. And I had one friend went with me because he knew how I was, and he's like, "I'm going to go with Koby." So I put him on the waterfall above me, and I took the one, and the next thing I know, he's yelling and screaming at me, yelling. I'm like, okay. He's like, "Koby, I need help. So I run up, I'm trying to go through Mountain Laurel, and I ended up like dropping all my gear and just like trying to get through this brush, get up there, and he catches a 20-inch rainbow in this tiny little creek. So we take a bunch of pictures, we go down, and I go, hey, I've got this, it's probably a 16-inch palomino in this little hole back here. Like, come back down with me and we'll see if I can get you to get him. Right. So we go back down, and I'm just throwing a streamer up in there in this little waterfall, and has this little whirlpool just going around. I just throw the streamer in there, and I rip it back, and this 20-inch brown comes out from underneath the waterfall, just smashes the streamer. And so you can kind of, if you scroll through my Instagram, you can see that one that's just holding it up, and just this giant brown. And that's in Maryland on this tiny little stream. So that's probably one of my favorite fishing stories, just because like all of my friends, they're like, every year we go on this trip, and I always catch the biggest fish and the most fish. So
chasing the truck.
Yeah, that's an awesome story.
You can't sit there and catch 13-inch stockers and catch the biggest fish. It never works out.
That's great. That's great.
That's probably one of my favorite stories. There's a lot of others too. So
hell yeah,
a lot of second places.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. You said that's on your Instagram, so real quick, let's shout that out. Is that on the Ridge Reaper, or is that on
on the Ridge Reaper? It might be on the Rise somewhere, but it would be way back on the Rise. I don't post nearly as much on the Ridge Reaper.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's in there. There's
cool.
Trying to think, I'm like bent over, just kneeling down with this giant brown hanging.
Hell yeah.
One of my favorite pictures too.
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now. But just so everybody knows, yeah, Ridge Reaper 23, and then also follow Rise, right? That's
Rise
Fishing Co. Yeah, definitely get on those, because I mean, if you want to look at fish, that's where you should go.
Big truck farm. You want to get some beers?
If you want to get some beers,
right?
Everybody wants some beers.
And then I'll do the shameless plug. Whenever you get those beers from him, you can head over to huntliftdeep.com.
There you go.
And get you a koozie for it.
Love it.
Get you a koozie.
But it doesn't work to put your branding out with a koozie on. So,
well, see, that's why it worked out good for me to have a koozie, because I can cover up, what I'm drinking.
Mine that I carry with me if I go to some place is usually like it's a military one. It's got like my U.S. Marine Corps patch on it, and I just keep it in my pocket.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Solid shameless plug there, Casey. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
you're welcome. You're welcome,
Perfect.
Luke.
I mean, and while we're at it, we might as well mention, you can follow us over on the Instagram at
there you go.
Fish Lift Eat Official.
Yep.
I'm already following.
Attaboy.
Bonus points.
You guys hear that? Koby's doing it. You should do it too.
Yep.
That's right. Right.
So hey, man, it was super cool having you on, and I think that I'll speak for everybody here, and I'm sure they'll agree. We should stay in touch and have you back on as Rise continues to do its thing. Yeah, to Rise. Right. I was gonna go there. I'm a dad. I can have dad jokes, but I didn't do it, man. I didn't take the bait.
Didn't take the bait.
I did.
There it is.
Fishing pun.
You get a bass guy, I'll always take the bait.
Yeah, there you
Absolutely.
go.
I'm always here for a good bait.
But yeah, man, I think we'd love to have you back on just kind of as things continue to grow. And I appreciate having the opportunity to chat with you. And, outside of this, love to chat some more about business and what's going on and, how we can continue to work together.
Absolutely. And you've only scratched the surface on stories. So,
Great.
There's the whole hunting portion too.
Yeah, we may have to.
And then come back here and then talk fishing again.
We'll leash you out to the guys on the other side. And hunt with you for a minute.
We'll throw those bunch of losers a bone.
Yeah.
They're gonna kick David off of it.
If they ain't kicked me out by now, I don't know that they're gonna.
You'll be all right.
Fair enough.
Oh,
appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for taking the time to jump on and chat with us. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and definitely look forward to being able to do it again with you.
Yeah, well, and for you guys in Colorado, I mean, I'll see David when I get back out to Texas, but I'll be at the Denver Fly Fishing Show this year too. So
awesome.
Come back and meet in person.
Ready. Quick plug on that one, man. That's right around my birthday. So that is my birthday present annually now, is I get to go to that show and do whatever I want. It's great.
Well, I haven't been to it yet at the Gaylord, so I don't know what that's like. I was always in that old place where it was the used to be the Snea Grab. What was that?
Shoot, what the hell is that called? Look,
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Don't even matter, dude. That setup at the Gaylord it's legit, man. We were there for a full day, and I could have spent way more time there. It's a pretty great show out here.
Well, good. Yep, we'll have to catch up, and I'll definitely bring beers with me. So
perfect. I will be there.
Yep.
I've already penciled it in. See how quick I did this? It's already
my address, so you can ship me some. Did I mention we were looking for a beer sponsor for the podcast?
Yeah. Talk about shameless.
I know how distribution works. You need us to create some demand around the country, so we could do that here on this show. So go ahead.
There we go.
We're ready to go.
Send me the distributor in Georgia, and we'll or 5 of them.
Don't test Casey; it'll happen.
Casey English.
Casey English.
I'll be bootlegging the stuff.
Get right to my garage.
There you go. It's only a 10-hour drive up here, so
don't threaten me with a good time.
Well worth
it. Throw it in the back of the truck and go down and sell it.
Hell yeah.
Truck? Hell, I'll bring a trailer.
There you
go. Awesome.
Oh, man. Well, man, this is a lot of fun. Guys. I look forward to it. Look forward to doing it again. And to all our listeners, we appreciate y'all joining us again. And we'll see you on the next episode next Monday. But in the meantime, y'all keep them lines wet, and we'll catch you on the next cast. See ya.